Yeah, welcome to another episode of After the Bell. We've got myself, Daniel.
You got Jamshed.
Got Samson.
Yeah, and in this video, we're going to get into what Canelo Alvarez, the star of boxing, is doing, what he's got planned for the year. So we know at the end of February, he's due to be fighting Andy Yildirim, which I believe is a mandatory. And then it sounds like on Cinco de Mayo, which is a big fight date for Canelo and for Mexican fighters in general, it seems. He's rumored to be fighting Billy Joe Saunders, which if he were to come through that and win, he would then claim the WBO belt, which would mean only Caleb Plant has a belt in the super middleweight division that doesn't belong to Canelo Alvarez. What do we make of that?
I think it's about time regarding the Billy Jones Saunders fight. And I think, from Canelo's perspective, I can see why he is possibly taking the long route, quote unquote, long route to Billy Joe Saunders, because obviously he wants to maximize his earnings. But obviously, from a fan point of view, you want to see the biggest and hardest fights earlier. But to be very honest with you, I think it's going to be an interesting fight, but I'm still expecting Canelo to win. Yeah. And as for his upcoming fight, I expect that to be a routine win as well. Probably more of a shakedown from his fight against Callum Smith. Again, just to maximize his earnings and add to his legacy. The Mexican fighters, they do like numbers in terms of like the amount of fights that they have. I think they pride themselves on that. So yeah, I think he's just adding more. How old is he now? 30? He's got what? Nearly 60 odd fights.
I think so, yeah.
Wow, amazing. But yeah, that's just my take on it. Yeah.
So guys, I don't know much about Yildirim. So I was Googling his info, and as I'm Googling, I just found out that Leon Spinks died.
Yeah, he died last night actually.
Yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like the news stories are literally rolling in now. Like Sky News just reported on it an hour ago.
Yeah, died yesterday, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
legend. First guy that beat Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. So not only is that, well, that's what some of the articles are kind of alluding to as well. Like the boxer who shocked the world by beating Ali dies at 67, and 67 isn't really an age to go, man.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and actually we without going into too much detail, he's special to the show as well in a way.
He was right.
He's special to the show as well in a way, because that's we were gonna do an episode on him, innit?
Yeah, nothing wrong.
Yeah, so that's
nothing
crazy.
Wrong.
Well, rest in peace, Leon Spinks, man. But yeah. So back to the what we're talking about, Yildirim. I don't know much about him, but I think he's only lost 2 fights from what it says here, so it should be exciting. And yeah, I agree with you, Sam, man. It's about time with the Saunders fight.
Yeah, no, totally. I think at this point with Canelo, though, it's a bit like, what does he want to do next? I mean, he's achieved everything. But I guess that's even the more interesting thing, is that he keeps going and he still wants more. That's the sign of a real champion. After earning everything, he's still hungry, still improving as well. Which is a testament to his mindset. But I mean, Canelo can retire now and he'll still end up being a legend.
Exactly.
There's still fights, obviously, we still probably want to see, but I don't think we're clamoring to see it as much, because he's done most things already. He's beaten Kovalev, he's beaten Cam Smith, he's beaten Jacobs, he's beaten Triple G, Lara. So yeah, I mean, I guess the Billy Jones Saunders fight is probably the last of what we want to see or what we're clamoring to see. Obviously, he hasn't fought the Charlos yet, but I don't know if we really want to see that, do we?
No, to be honest, I just don't see it happening, if you know what I mean. I don't think either ones will be interested in it, because I know, what is it? Charlo said, I think he said something about he doesn't want to fight anyone who hasn't had a COVID vaccine and is over 25 or something. Which takes stipulations to another degree, but that's a discussion for another day. But I think on the Canelo thing, what I was going to say as well, I think what I'm finding most impressive is the fact that he fought in December and he's fighting again end of Feb. You know, so it kind of, I hope it puts to like an end to this model of fighters only fighting twice a year while trying to build their name up, because there's a lot of fighters who don't have the name of Canelo that would never dream of fighting once in December, once in February. And I know Yildirim isn't the, you know, it's not the most formidable opposition he's going to fight, but it's a mandatory. So he's taking care of business and then getting onto the other belts.
I think not only that, but yeah, like he fought like 12 grueling rounds with Callum Smith as well.
Exactly.
It's not like it was an early victory. Yeah. And
I think what we're going to see now is, because I know he signed a 2-fight deal with Matchroom, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I presume that's to get the Billy Joe Saunders fight, to get that belt. And then I imagine he'll be talking to Fox and PBC to fight Caleb Plant to try and get that last belt. And then who knows what he'll do. I know a lot of people are trying to, because Canelo seems to be better than everyone in that division, they're trying to overmatch him now by telling him fight Bivol and Beterbiev, who are a whole weight division bigger. Which I don't know, like they just want to see him lose, isn't it? They're trying to overmatch him now. And Canelo was a guy that he was fighting at welterweight at one point.
Yeah.
And you went to light heavyweight.
Yeah. But I think it's becoming less riskier with Canelo now, because you more or less cashed out. You've made your money on him big time. You know, so him going into these big fights with Beterbiev and the other names you mentioned is becoming more of a bonus now. You know, if he loses, he's still gonna sell. You know, the Mexican people are behind him, and we believe in his talents and his skills, and his legacy is set already. So, yeah. So let's see what Canelo's gonna do in his next fight.
Do you think? Do you both think Canelo? I presume we all think Canelo's going to beat Yildirim. Do we think Canelo beats Billy Joe Saunders? Because there's a lot of talk that Billy Joe Saunders presents an awkward style for Canelo, etc., etc. I'm not overly sold on it, to be honest, but I think Canelo probably comes through it.
Yeah, I think Billy Jones is top fighter, but Canelo is different level, and we're going to see that. He's gonna make a fight of it, Billy Jones, because of his background and his mentality. But Canelo is just gonna overcome him eventually.
And then, do you think if Canelo then fights Caleb Plant in his next fight, let's say hopefully by the end of the year, do you think Canelo would win that, and then he'd be undisputed in that division?
Gonna have to back him. Gonna have to back him. As much as Caleb Plant is a top-notch fighter as well, he won recently as well. Was it last week?
Yeah, he did actually.
Yeah, mad respect for his boxing skills as well. But as Canelo we're talking about, we have to back Canelo.
Yeah, agreed.
I think Billy Joe Saunders will end up being a tougher fight than Caleb Plant, actually, personally. But
yeah, possibly, yeah.
But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens. But I think that's everything on this topic. Yeah, if you want to follow us on Instagram, where they're at After the Bell Boxing, and on Twitter, where you can find us at Bell Boxing. Until next time, Daniel.
Jamshed.
Samson.
Peace.